Good morning, student. We'll start now. So we started with filtering frequency domain in the last class. There we have seen various types of low pass filters and high pass filter. And what is the meaning of low pass filter? They are the filter which attenuates high frequencies while passing the low frequencies. Okay, so they pass the low frequency, that's why we call them as low pass filters. Okay, and high pass filters has the opposite property. Okay, so they pass the high frequency and they attenuate the low frequency components. Okay, so under each category we have seen three types of filters: ideal, Gaussian and Butterworth. And this H varies from 0 to 1. As you can see, this low pass filter, which I am representing by LP, we can derive the high pass filters from low pass filters only by just subtracting it from 1. Okay, so the equations of HP can be derived from the equations of low pass filters. Okay, so as you can see here, so they are just 1 minus the equations of low pass filters. Okay, and what is our general procedure? So we have our input image in the form of f of xy, then we apply a Fourier transform on that to obtain a transform image which we represent by f of uv, capital F of uv. Then we do the array multiplication. Okay, that in MATLAB we represent by dot star with h of uv. Okay, so now processing is done. Then what we do the inverse Fourier transform. Okay, and then we'll get a process image at the end. Okay, so this is the procedure of filtering in frequency domain. Okay, and this h of uv is determined by these equations. Okay, so as per the requirement you have to decide the value of h of uv. These are the perspective plots of these filters. Okay, so these are regarding low pass filters, and these are the perspective perspective plots of high pass filters. So this is for ideal, this is the Butterworth low pass filter, and this is Gaussian low pass filter, and these are their counterparts. Okay, as you can see, they are perfectly opposite to this, and this value of h varies from 0 to 1. Now we'll see more filters in frequency domain. We have seen Laplacian operator in the spatial domain also. Okay, so we have Laplacian operator in frequency domain also. So we can implement Laplacian in frequency domain using this transfer function. Okay, so h of uv for Laplacian is this one, and if we translate the center of the h of uv to the center of the plot, okay, that means if this is the image, if we translate to the center of the image, the equation becomes like this. Okay, we know the dimension of h of uv is represented by p cross q, right? Okay, so center will be p by 2 and q by 2. So if we translate to the center, the equation becomes like this. Okay, and we know this is the Euclidean distance formula. This bracket is a Euclidean distance formula which we represent by d of uv. Okay, so h of uv becomes this one. Okay, and so Laplacian, the value of okay, so we will multiply our transform image by h of uv. H of uv is given by this equation, and then we take a inverse of that to get the Laplacian image. Okay, and we have seen in Laplacian image we have it looks like a edge image. Okay, it has the details. Okay, and we either add or subtract that Laplacian image to the original image to get the sharpened image. Okay, so Laplacian image contains the detail. Okay, so we add that details to the original image to get the sharpened image. Okay, so now in frequency domain our Laplacian equation is like this. Okay, so here we have inverse transform. Okay, so now this f of x can be written by f inverse of f of uv, right? This f of x is equivalent to this equation. This inverse and Fourier will cancel out to get the original image. Okay, so f of xy equals to f inverse of f of uv. So here we have that one. Okay, and what is the value of Laplacian? Okay, so here we have h of uv into f of uv. You put the values here. Okay, so we have f inverse of f of uv minus, okay, we have taken the inverse Fourier common. Okay, so here we have outside. Okay, then f of uv is here, and then h of uv and f of uv. We have put the value of c as -1, that's why we have minus here. Okay, then we take a f of uv common. Okay, and we know 1 minus h of uv, we have to put the value of h of uv here. H of uv is this one, minus 4 pi square d square uv. So put the value here, and this is the equation for image sharpening in the frequency domain using the Laplacian. So g of xy represents the processed image, f of uv is the Fourier transform of our original image, and this is the filter. This is actually the filter, the value of h of uv. Okay, so this is regarding Laplacian in the frequency domain, and this is one example. So this is our original image of the north pole of the moon. This is Laplacian filtered image. Okay, so this is the image when we obtained this is the image that we obtained using this one. Okay, if you apply this filter, okay, so this is the result of this equation, and if you implement this equation, you will get this sharpened image. Okay, so this is regarding Laplacian Laplacian filtering in frequency domain. Then in spatial domain, we have discussed unsharp masking and high-boss filtering. Okay, so idea was to subtract the blurred image from the original image to get the detailed image, just like a Laplacian image. Okay, so what we are doing, we are blurring the image, and that we are subtracting from the original image. Okay, so we'll get the image which will contain the details. Okay, so it will contain it will contain the edge details. Okay, and this we can add to our original image. Okay, with some scalar. Okay, multiply that mask by some scalar, and that you add to f of xy. So what you are doing, so you are adding a scaled version of the detail into the original image. Okay, and that's how we are achieving a sharpening. Okay, when we put a k equals to 1, that is known as the unsharp masking, and if k is greater than 1, that is known as a high-boss filtering. Okay, so this was regarding this was in spatial domain. Now we will see unsharp masking in frequency domain. So we know this when we, so this LP is a low pass filter. Okay, and f of uv is a Fourier transform of our original image, and if we take a inverse of that, we get a blurred image. Okay, so when we apply a low pass filter, we achieve the effect of smoothing, right? Effect of blurring. So this is our blurred image, FLP of xy. Okay, so we have till now we have obtained this blurred image. Okay, now this is the equation of unsharp masking. Okay, so we are adding that scaled version of the mask to the original image. Okay, this mask is actually f of xy minus blurred version of the original image, right? Then this f of xy is nothing but f inverse of f of uv, right? This is same. Okay, and this blurred version, you put the value of this blurred version from this equation. Okay, so now this term is containing inverse, this is also containing inverse, and this equation is also containing the inverse. Okay, so we have taken the inverse common, and every term is having f of uv also, f of uv and f of uv, that we have taken common. And if you put the values, all the values in this equation, you will get this equation. Okay, and we know 1 minus low pass filter is nothing but high pass filter, right? That we have discussed just now here. Okay, so 1 minus low pass filter equals to high pass filter. So you put the values here and we get this image, this equation. So this is the equation to achieve the unsharp masking or high boost filtering in frequency domain. Okay, so this square bracket represents our filter. Okay, so if you compare the Laplacian equation, which is g of xy inverse Fourier transform of some kernel into our f of uv. Okay, so here we have this 1 plus 4 pi square d square uv, and here in unsharp masking we have inverse Fourier transform of this kernel into f of uv. Here we have 1 plus k h of h high pass filter. Okay, this k will be an integer, and when k is equals to 1, that is unsharp masking, and if k is greater than 1, that is known as high boost filtering. Okay, this is the example. This is the image that we get when we subtract a blurred image from the original image. Okay, so that is the mask. This is for k equals to 1, and I think this is for k greater than 1. Okay, now so this is the equation of our unsharp masking, and this square bracket is known as high frequency emphasis filter. This square bracket, which is a kernel in our unsharp masking, is known as high frequency emphasis filter. Okay, so now we can generalize that equation to create this equation. So now we have replaced 1 by k1 and k by k2. Okay, now we can change this value to gain a more control on the processing. Okay, again the k1 and k2 now here k1 and k2 can be a fractional value. Okay, can be a float value. Okay, so this is the more generalized version, and this is known as a high frequency emphasis filter. Okay, so this high frequency emphasis filter is actually a variant of unsharp masking. Okay, so here we try to accentuate the contribution to the enhancement made by the high frequency components. Okay, so only the high frequency components are accentuated. Okay, so they will become more prominent. Okay, and we have some here we are multiplying high pass filter function by a constant. Okay, so we are multiplying our high pass filter by a constant, and we are adding an offset here. Okay, so actually it is a high pass filter, so its function will look like this. Let me draw here. So it will be something like this. Okay, so here we have h value, so it will vary from 0, okay, and to some integer value. Okay, here the range of h is not 0 to 1, it can be further also. Okay, so it is not 0 to 1. Okay, now we are adding some constant to here. Okay, so graph will get shifted. Okay, and this is the value of k1. Okay, now by doing this average of the image is not made 0. Okay, so when we have a curve from the center, okay, the average becomes 0, right? So now it is from k1. Okay, so when you see the result, this is the result of high pass filter, where we make average of the image 0. So detail is lost here. Okay, background detail is lost, but here as we have some value, some offset, so background is somewhat preserved here. Okay, and then we take a log histogram equalization to get the processed image. Okay, so this is our original image, this is the result of simple high pass filtering, and this is the result of high frequency emphasis. Okay, so here we have accentuated the contribution made by the high frequency components. Okay, so that means the edges. Okay, and in order to improve the appearance, after this we have applied histogram equalization. Okay, so as you can see, the ribs are clearly visible here as compared to the original image. Okay, so this is regarding high frequency emphasis, which is a variant of unsharp masking. These are the scaled version of those images. This is the result of simple high pass filtering. Okay, this is the result of high frequency emphasis filtering, and this is the final result after histogram equalization. Now the last filter is known as a homomorphic filtering. Okay, so now here we want to remove the shading effects from the image, and that is generally due to the uneven illumination. Okay, if you remember, we can represent our original image as a product of illumination term and reflectance term. Okay, so every image has two components, that is illumination, okay, that is the energy coming from the source, and the reflectance, that is the energy reflected by that object. Okay, so now here the problem is the shading effects occurs due to the uneven illumination. Okay, so now we want to just work on the one of the component of f of xy. Okay, we are not touching the reflectance. Okay, sometimes we want to work on the reflectance and not on the illumination. Okay, so now, so in order to do that, if we just apply a Fourier transform on this, okay, so if we take a Fourier of f, okay, which is nothing but I into r, okay, can we separate this Fourier transform? Can we have equation like this, a Fourier of illumination multiplied by Fourier of illumination multiplied by Fourier of reflectance? No, we have seen during the discussion on properties of Fourier transform, it is not distributive over the multiplication. Okay, we have seen a linearity property, it says it is distributive over the addition and not the multiplication. Okay, so now how to overcome this problem? So what we do, we just take a log of that. Okay, log of f of xy. So we know that a log of m into n is equals to log of m plus log of n, right? So now we have those components separately, and if we apply a Fourier on these two components, so we know that Fourier is distributive over the addition. Then we have a Fourier of m part and Fourier of n part. Okay, it should be log m and log n. Okay, so what is our idea? So we take a log of our f of xy, then we do the Fourier transform, okay, and then we apply some mask and then inverse, and opposite operation of logarithm is exponentiation, right? So we know that e raised to power log of m is nothing but m, right? So this log and e cancel out. Okay, so let me rewrite this. So log of m equals to m. Okay, so log and exponentiation are the opposite actions. Okay, and then we will get the process image. Okay, so this is the idea that is used in homomorphic filtering. So this f of xy is made up of two components, that is illumination and reflectance. It should be reflectance. Okay, and this I varies from 0 to infinity, and r is the coefficient and it varies from 0 to 1. Okay, and it is observed that this I corresponds to the low frequency components. Okay, it varies slowly and affects the low frequency, and reflectance, it varies fast and affects the high frequency. Okay, so if you want to achieve the sharpening effect, you have to work on the reflectance component of f of xy. Okay, so our idea was to separate the low frequency due to the I of xy from the high frequency due to the r of xy. So this is the total overall process. Okay, so here we are taking a log of our f of xy, which is represented by z of xy. Then we have made them separate. Okay, then what we are doing here, so Okay, then we are taking a Fourier transform. This is the we can represent a Fourier by this symbol also, or simply we write capital while writing capital F while writing on the paper. Okay, and then Fourier transform is distributive over the addition by the linearity property. Okay, now we are representing the Fourier of small z by capital Z. Okay, and this is the Fourier of illumination term, and this is the Fourier of reflectance term. Okay, then we are applying our filter on this Z. Okay, now Z simply it is a simply array multiplication. Okay, so we can distribute h of uv. We have replaced Z by this. Okay, then after this processing is done, so we have to take a inverse. So we have taken the inverse. Okay, inverse of this. Okay, now we can represent the inverse of this by this factor. Okay, and inverse of this by this. Okay, and we have to do the exponentiation now. Okay, so exponentiation of s of xy. S of xy is this one. Okay, after the inverse. Okay, then r dash. Okay, then I dash was achieved after taking a log. Okay, so I dash, sorry, log will cancel out. Okay, and we'll get this term. Okay, so are the illumination and reflectance component of the processed image. Okay, so this is our equation. Now what will be the value of h of uv? Okay, in homomorphic filtering, this h of uv is implemented using this equation. Now if you closely observe this equation, this factor looks like a Gaussian high pass filtering. Okay, so let me just open, let me show you the equation of high pass filter, Gaussian high pass filter. It is 1 minus e raised to power square divided by square. Okay, one minus e raised to power c is new, this part is new, square divided by square. Okay, so actually it is a variant of Gaussian high pass filter. Okay, and this gamma h and gamma l are new factors introduced in this equation. Okay, and that is so gamma l determines the offset. Okay, and this is its higher value. Okay, the value of l, this gamma l will be less than 1 and gamma h will be greater than 1. Okay, so these are the parameter by which we control the values of h of uv, and this c actually controls the sharpness of this curve. Okay, so anyway this curve will go from here to here, that sharpness will be decided by this c factor. So it attenuates the contribution made by the illumination, that means low frequency, and it amplifies the contribution made by the reflectance. Okay, that means high frequency. Okay, we are using the variant of Gaussian high pass filtering, right? Okay, so high pass filter means what? It attenuates the low frequencies and it allows the high frequency, right? So we are amplifying the high frequencies, and this is the result obtained using homomorphic filtering. Now as you can see here, in the original image we cannot see anything inside this room. Now here some part is visible, we can see some pipes here. Okay, and this engine is more visible in this processed image. So this is regarding homomorphic filtering, and this is one other example. Here we have set the value of gamma L as 0.25 and gamma H as 2. C generally we set as 1 and D0 as 80. So this is our cutoff frequency. Now we are approaching towards the end of this unit. Okay, so we'll just summarize. So similar jobs can be done in the spatial and frequency domain. Okay, so we can achieve low pass filtering and high pass filtering in both the domain. Okay, but filtering in the spatial domain can be easier to understand. Okay, but in filtering in the frequency domain can be much faster. Okay, uh, it was very easy to visualize in spatial domain. Okay, uh, the visualization was very difficult in case of a frequency domain, but we use frequency domain to make the calculation much faster. Here the reason is mentioned. So we know that convolution in a spatial domain is equal to the multiplication in the frequency domain. Okay, so we have made a calculation here. Our original image size is 512 by 512 and our filter size is 32 by 32. Okay, so we know that in our spatial domain, so consider this is our original image and this is our filter. We convolve this filter over every pixel, right? So we have to do, so how many pixels will be there? 512 into 512, that is given here. Okay, and for every pixel we have to do 32 into 32 multiplications. Okay, so the total will be this much multiplication. And in the frequency domain, what happens? First we have to take a Fourier transform. Okay, for each Fourier transform we require how much? Okay, so how many rows are there? So this is after padding. Okay, for every row we require this much multiplication, and this much multiplications are required for one Fourier transform. Okay, and after processing we have to take inverse Fourier transform. So again we need this much multiplication, and we have to do we have to take a Fourier transform of the filter also. Okay, and we have to pad and we have to make that filter size as 512 by 512. Again we require this much multiplication. Okay, actually this much multiplication. Okay, so that's why we have 3 multiplied by that factor. Okay, first the Fourier transform of the original image, Fourier transform of the filter, and then for the inverse. Okay, and then plus we also require 512 by 512 multiplication to perform the product of two transform. Okay, finally we have to take the matrix multiplication, right? So that much multiplications are also required. Okay, and final multiplications are this one. Now you compare this one with this one. These are the multiplication required in spatial domain, and these are the multiplication required in frequency domain. So here we have 268,000, sorry, so they are using US notations. Okay, so let me just calculate. So what is the result? So how much multiplications are saved? Okay, so here we have 14,000 and here we have 268. Okay, so 14 multiplied by 100 divided by 268. Okay, so it is just a 5% of that. Okay, so we have said around 95 multiplications. Okay, so so that is the use of processing in frequency domain. Okay, so last point is generally we don't apply a single operation to get the result. We actually require a series of operations. Successful image enhancement is typically not achieved using a single operation. It requires we require to combine a range of techniques in order to achieve a final result. Okay, so we'll see one example, enhancing the bone scan. Okay, so this is our bone scan image. So first image that we obtained is using Laplacian filter. Okay, so we have obtained a Laplacian image that contains the details. Then we add that to our original image to get the sharpened image. As you can see, it has more details. Then later we have applied a Sobel filter. In fourth unit we are going to study image segmentation. There we will study Sobel filter. It is actually used to detect the edges. Okay, as you can see, we have prominent edges here as compared to sharpened image. Then we have done the smoothing operation with 5 by 5 or averaging filter. Then we have taken a product of C and E image to obtain this image. Then we have sharpened using summation by doing a summation of A and F image, and finally we have obtained this result. Okay, so from going A to H, we have applied these many operations, and if you see the final result, we have much better result. Okay, so the idea is we generally don't apply a single operation, we have to apply a sequence of operations to get the desired result. Okay, so you have to decide according to your problem statement which operations are required. Okay, so today we have seen Laplacian filtering in the frequency domain. Let us revise quickly. So we have seen Laplacian in frequency domain. Then we have seen unsharp masking and high-boost filtering in frequency domain. Then we have seen its variant, which is known as high frequency emphasis, where we have introduced K1 and K2, which gives us more control to process. And then we have seen homomorphic filtering, where we want to work on this individual component of the f of xy. And there we have used the property of logarithms. Okay, and then finally we have seen how frequency domain filtering is useful, and we have seen how to combine different enhancement methods. Okay, so we'll stop here. Any doubt? So in this way we have completed our unit number 2, and most probably there will be 2 units in your MSc. I hope you have understood enhancement techniques. In parallel we have completed 8 practicals also out of 11. Okay, yesterday I have uploaded 2 practicals based on frequency domain filtering. For most of the practical I have discussed the MATLAB code. Okay, DIP is very interesting subject because we can see the output directly. You apply something and you observe the output. You can get that concept very clearly. Okay, we'll stop here.